Dear children, today we're going to talk about a very heart touching story of a painter who inspires a girl to live, and in the process of his action, he loses his life. Now, let's get into the detailed summary of the story. Two girls, Sue and Johnsy, lived together in a small flat. They were artists. The flat was on the third floor of an old house. During this time, in the month of November, Johnsy was struck by pneumonia. She remained in bed and would look out of the window. Sue was worried about Johnsy and called the doctor. The doctor visited them daily, but there was no improvement in Johnsy's health. And one day, the doctor secretly asked Sue if something was the matter with Johnsy. And Sue replied with a question. Why did the doctor think so? And the doctor said that it seemed that Johnsy had decided not to live and did not want to recover from the illness. In such a case, medicines would not work on her. Then Sue tried to liven up Johnsy. She discussed interesting things like clothes, fashion with her. But Johnsy remained unaffected. She lay in bed. Sue sat aside and started painting in order to create interest in her and take her mind off her illness. Sue would whistle at times to brighten up Johnsy. At this time, Sue heard that Johnsy was speaking softly. Johnsy was making a backward counting while looking out of the window. Sue was curious and looked outside. She saw an ivy creeper plant beside the window of the room. As strong winds were blowing, the leaves of the creeper were falling. Sue asked her what the matter was. Johnsy said 6. Then she said that the leaves were falling faster. She added that 3 days ago there were a lot of leaves on the ivy creeper, almost 100, but now only 5 were left. For this, Sue replied that it was autumn season and it was natural for the creeper to shed its leaves. And Johnsy, lying on the bed, said that she would die when the last leaf fell. She added that she had known this for the last 3 days. Hearing this, Sue was shocked and replied that this did not make any sense. The leaves had nothing to do with her health. The doctor was sure that she would recover. Now Johnsy remained quiet. Sue got a bowl of soup for Johnsy, but Johnsy did not accept the soup. She was not hungry. Then she said that 4 leaves were remaining on the ivy plant. She wanted to see the last leaf fall before sunset, and then she could die peacefully. Sue was so worried and tried to show affection towards Johnsy. She said that Johnsy would not die. She kept the curtain open because she needed the light to complete the painting. She would sell it to fetch money for them. Sue requested Johnsy not to look out of the window. Johnsy agreed and asked Sue to finish the painting so that she could be in time to see the last leaf fall off the ivy plant. She was tired of waiting to see it fall. She wanted to die and was tired just like the poor, tired ivy leaves. Sue asked Johnsy to try to get some sleep. As Sue had to paint an old miner, she would call upon their neighbor Berman to be a model for her painting. Then Sue went downstairs to the ground floor of the house where Berman lived. Berman was a 60-year-old painter. He aspired to paint a masterpiece. Sue discussed Johnsy's condition with Berman. She said that Johnsy was sure that she would die when the last leaf fell off the ivy plant. In reply, Berman commented that Johnsy was being very silly. Then Sue said that Johnsy was suffering from high fever. She was not eating too. Sue was worried about her. Then Berman consoled Sue and went to see Johnsy. Berman and Sue entered the room quietly. Johnsy was asleep. Sue drew the curtains and they went to the adjoining room. Sue looked out of the window. There was only one leaf left on the creeper plant. There was heavy rain accompanied by strong cold winds. The leaf was due to fall any moment. Berman did not say anything and went back to his room. The next morning, Johnsy woke up and, in a weak voice, asked Johnsy to open the curtains. Sue was worried and hesitantly drew them back. Let's see what happens now. Sue was glad as she announced that there still was one leaf on the creeper. It appeared green and healthy. The leaf had not fallen despite the storm. Johnsy said that she had heard the winds the previous night. She had thought that the leaf would definitely fall. She added that it would fall that day for sure and then she would die too. Again, Sue said that Johnsy would not die. She had to live for her friends. She added that she would become lonely if Johnsy died. Now Johnsy smiled and closed her eyes. She was weak. After almost every hour, she would look out if the leaf was still there or not. It seemed that the leaf was stuck to the creeper. There was another storm that evening, but the leaf did not fall. Johnsy kept on looking at it and then she called to Sue. Then Johnsy confessed that she had been a bad girl. Sue looked after her while she did not cooperate and remained sad. The last leaf had made her realize her mistake. She said that the desire to die was a wrong one. Now Sue was glad to see the change in Johnsy. She got soup for her and gave her a mirror to set her hair. Johnsy was happy and bright too. The doctor visited that afternoon and said that the desire to live was back in Johnsy. He was sure that she would recover. Then the doctor went downstairs to check Berman, who was suffering from pneumonia, and there was no hope that he would recover. The next morning, Sue sat beside Johnsy and told her that Berman died that morning. He had been ill for the last 2 days. The caretaker of the building had found him in his bed. His clothes and shoes were wet and he was shivering. He had gone out at night during the storm. A ladder and a lantern were lying near his bed. Paint brushes, green and yellow colored paint, were also lying nearby. Sue asked Johnsy to look at the leaf. It did not flutter when the wind blew. It was the masterpiece that Berman aspired to paint. When the last leaf fell at night, Berman painted this one. Let's do some important questions and answers from the last leaf. Question number 1. What is Johnsy's illness? What can cure her? The medicine or the willingness to live? Johnsy's illness is the lack of a desire to live, and her illness can be cured by her desire to live. Second question. Berman has a dream. What is it? Does it come true? Answer. Berman had a dream of painting a masterpiece. It came true when he got a chance to paint a leaf. Final question. What is Berman's masterpiece? What makes you say so? Answer. The leaf painted by Berman is his masterpiece. Sue said so because it looked as good as a real leaf, and it was also a masterpiece because it brought back Johnsy's desire to live.